See what I'm saying? You don't want to miss this unique, informative audience participation, light-hearted show with lots and lots of Cayman jokes, culture, and guests. As we talk about things we say and do, it happening every third Friday on Talk Today.
WHA SAYIN is a special feature of Talk Today, jointly produced by the National Museum and Radio Cayman, a language, history, and culture show. Remember, it's every third Friday on 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
WHA SAYIN begins right now.
Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. And thank you for joining us. It is always with great excitement, joy, anticipation, and
oh my God.
All right, Mr. Ray Banker, I must commend you. You know, I say this, and I think you don't appreciate the amount of work and effort that you put in. No, not at all, man, not at all. You know, and Minister 10 last night, you still in the office working. I want to know why, but this month's production of See What I'm Saying with the good company of Dr. Jackman. Sir, thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, and thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, trust me.
Yeah. We needed somebody to beat up on, and we figured,
No, I can't do that.
No, but it's amazing. Now, off the bat, as we talk about breadfruit in the history, and a couple of people ask me, of all the things, you know, why breadfruit?
Why not?
What?
Just one of the things we got to talk about.
Yeah.
That's sitting around.
All right. The question I had asked, all right, and we won't get to just now, but would it be okay if I asked the public how many people would have, you know, think of breadfruit, you know, recall Captain Blythe, and think...
Recall, or even know him?
Well, yeah, even know of him, and would they have considered that he may have been in Cayman, all right? But we're not getting to that yet. So, Ray, take us away, man.
Yes, breadfruit, like you said, why not? I think it's one of the things, like I think Dr. Jackman said when he first came, there's one of the things there that was underutilized. And I've always, I don't know if I always heard the history of, or lack of a history of it, or any of the things that we have. People really don't be able to recall, like wild guineas here, like breadfruit, plums, some of the things that we have lying around. Why we have, you know, why they're here, the story behind it.
And because I know, I recall our last really meaningful conversation on Little Cayman after the Culture Show one day. I won't repeat it in public.
You have meaningful conversation. Did he have a meaningful? Oh, sorry, was it meaningful for him, but was it?
No, and I've known of Dr. Jackman, you know, all my life, so to speak. Yeah. And but I won't get into that. But the thing that struck me is that not just the insight, you know, the document that you bring to the table, academic and otherwise, but the principle and the idea that as we look at our agriculture, not only as an agrarian society at one point in terms of, you know, being, well, out of necessity, having to ensure that we have good provisions and the like, but the need to protect what we have of flora and fauna. Breadfruit to me, well, let me ask, because Dr. Jackman, you always shared, as you relayed, that from your perspective, it wasn't something that was utilized heavily here. In my household, and I think in West Bay generally, it was a staple. It was.
I think the only other one would be coconut. That would be more prevalent than that.
Yeah. So as we start our discussion, when your first recollection, was it that it wasn't used as much or as much compared to what you knew?
Well, let's put it this: coming from the Eastern Caribbean and coming to Cayman,
and looking around to see what we could do to push agriculture in different ways. Before I came here, I was told that Cayman didn't have any soil. And
when you came here, you found out that was true.
no, not really. But when I came here and I looked at the island, I drove around. Well, first of all, I came here in February, March in 1974 to have a look at the place to see whether I really would want to come here, because I was on my way back to Canada and I was told that they didn't have any soil. And when I went on, I saw the place was green. I said, but this is not a desert island. This is no way like Aruba or Curacao.
Yeah.
Those are islands, I say,
they're desert islands.
Are barren, and things grow there. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, there's a possibility. There must be some sort of soil there somewhere. I went to certain areas. I saw huge mango trees. Mango trees live for over 100 years. I saw breadfruit trees. I saw some, but I realized that a lot of them were underutilized. I don't know whether they're underutilized because they were difficult to harvest, underutilized because people didn't realize the potential. Mm-hmm. But I realized it. So when Desmond Seals of the Northwester asked me to write a monthly article.
And I can tell you what it's called. It's called Agricultural Straight Talk by Joseph B.W. Jackman.
Right.
And a whole bunch of letters after.
Yeah, well, that's irrelevant.
I think one might be breadfruit. No.
But the thing is that he asked me, so one of the things, I said I would start with the things that were underutilized first. And so one of them was in 1975.
Yep, September.
I wrote this one on breadfruit, to tell you a little bit about it. Of course, a lot of it was already known, but, just to
sure. Well, we find out that things we think is well-known, aren't well-known necessarily. So it's nothing wrong with saying it again.
Yeah. And the reason why I asked that, Dr. Jackman, because I think, well, it's probably obvious, almost everybody in society knows of you. All the Caymans have healthy respect for you. Ray and I grew up with your children to hold it against them. We still think they're okay, having to associate with us. But and what was very striking is that because of Ray's insight, intellect, and the questions and the chances that we get to chat, he sparked an interest. I went back and looked at two things: the historical record that we have, but also
we don't have.
Yeah, and also that oral sort of storytelling history that we have. So I went and spent a good part of the last 2 weeks chatting with different people, asking them and recalling to them your comments about the breadfruit and its utilization. Three things became evident. One question was asked by some older people: well, is it that was underutilized, or was there an oversupply? Now, I can't speak to every part of Grand Cayman, but in part of West Bay, Georgetown, and I call it Bottom Town.
Savannah area?
Yeah, there were breadfruit trees just, how did the guy put it?
Other ways,
yeah. Right? And there were just too many in terms of, but they were being used, but not used fast enough. No, limited refrigeration, not enough people. Secondly, when it come to water and soil, there was that. But one lady said, like everything, we're being told that this is as valued as it is, partly to undervalue so that we can get a better price. You native in the thatch hut kind of deal. And then the third thing was this issue that as people looked at it, like what Ray said, we take it for granted. We know how to use it.
Or maybe underutilization is part of it.
Yeah.
After researching this, I found all the different products you can get from it: the tree bark, the sap.
Exactly.
The sap was used for like a ship
caulking ships and so on. Yeah.
Not just putting in people's hair.
It was used for. It was especially they used especially in the Pacific Islands. They use it for caulking ships and
the wood and everything.
And the wood they use for building. They use it. It's a soft wood, but it's a durable wood.
Yes.
And one of the good things about it, a lot of people don't realize it, but I've been to Jamaica and I've seen breadfruit trees growing right by the seaside. If you go to Dunn's River Falls, and you look there, right on the sea, right,
Really?
right on the sea, the breadfruit trees growing.
So in your expertise, that's not supposed to happen?
It really shouldn't, but I think I know what happened. Is that the river flows there, and the water there is fresh and it's free draining. So the breadfruit will not tolerate standing water. They're like free draining water, and because it's sandy and it's fresh water passing them regularly, they thrive.
Okay,
and of course the Jamaicans use it. They're on the beach there, and they're reaching up to pick the breadfruit to roast it right there on the beach.
And that seems to be the traditional way of doing it, roasting it. That's how the Pacific Islanders do it.
Islanders do it.
Yeah.
But then not only that, they also dry it. In the Eastern Cayman, we dry it and make a powder.
I came across that in our oral history, and I never had heard about that before, the drying of it.
When I came back from, one of the things I did when I was at university was I was looking at things that I have at home, in the Caribbean, that we could make more use of. And we had so much breadfruit. If you think it was underutilized here, it was more underutilized in Montserrat. And of course, you have the possibility thinkers, and you have the thinkers who want to tell you not going to work. Right? And so I got some breadfruit. I dried it, and I sent it up to the nutrition department of McDonald College, and said, "Tell me how we can use this product to substitute for other things that we import." And their results when they sent it back was that anything you can use potato and corn with, you can do the same thing with breadfruit.
Oh.
Nutritionally, it's interesting because I think back again to growing up. I mean, breadfruits were everywhere. They were staple.
Yeah.
That and the ground
provisions and coconuts.
And then the coconut was that thing that was with everything.
Yeah, you had your oil, that's another very versatile.
We definitely need to do a show just on coconut.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That would be a good one.
Yeah. And y'all can ask us why on that one, too.
But this is the beauty of this small nation, right? The things that we do, and not just the industriousness. No, I'm not saying this exclusively to Cayman, but the Caribbean in general, but because I live and born here, you know it. The industrious, the innovative, there's a level of resilience and perseverance that it's incredible. Maybe it's because of the necessity.
Yeah, definitely. All those hundreds of years of living like that.
Making do. Making do with what you have. And making the most of it.
Especially like a maritime country like us. Yeah. I keep saying that we're wreckers. Find stuff on the beach, inland, some of the inland Caribbean or mainland Caribbean region people don't really have the coast to deal with, but we have stuff just floating in, and what we are doing with this?
Yeah, tinkers, kind of like tinkling with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want to put a Tinkerbell thing, I don't know why you're watching that show. But I've got a daughter that I have to watch it. But you see, but no, it's like what you said. I think part of it is underutilization of this thing, and
but it's portable. I mean,
that's the beauty about it. Yeah. That's the beauty about it. But let's go another route. There are hundreds of varieties of breadfruit.
Yeah.
And if you start doing research in the breadfruit, you come across so many different types.
That's the problem I had.
And not only that, the food values of the different species are different. Some of them are higher in protein, some of them are higher in carbohydrate, some of them have more vitamins, minerals, and so on than others. I think we in the Caribbean happen to have gotten two of the better ones. We got the white ordinary breadfruit, and we got the yellow heart.
Yeah.
And to me, as far as I'm concerned, I've eaten a lot of breadfruit. I haven't eaten all 100 varieties.
But you're talking all the family to the jackfruit, and you're talking about the bread.
The yellow heart. I think that the yellow heart breadfruit is one of the best breadfruits in the world.
Help us with that. How do you identify a yellow heart and a white heart? White heart? Is that what they call it, or just a white?
They call them, I just said breadfruit. It's breadfruit and yellow heart.
Yeah, that's it. And I do know the yellow heart definitely has a better flavor.
You think so?
Yes, definitely. No, definitely. I have a yellow heart in my yard.
Yeah.
So.
But can you identify them from the leaves and things like that?
No.
Oh,
You have to see the fruit. You have to, as far as I know, you have to see the fruit. The yellow heart has a sort of tinge, a sort of yellowish tinge on the skin when it's getting ripe.
That was green.
now don't tell
And the other one is more green.
guys that no.
Oh boy!
Huh?
All right. Tell you
That's
what.
why I don't want
See,
breadfruit. I'm scared to plant a breadfruit tree.
What does the scripture says? Yeah.
Because you have visitors in the night.
Oh yes, they love it.
You pay for them?
No, there's
they
some
just-
people who like to reap what they don't sow.
All of them have trees. They're my aunt a tree. I got this from my aunt a tree. I don't see you have.
But you were the only child.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, gents. What I say by the fruits you shall know them. Same with the breadfruit, right? When we come back from this break, we invite the listeners to join us for a month to see what I'm saying. Again, special public thanks to Ray Banker, man. You guys don't know the work that he puts in. And Dr. Jackman, thanks for braving the weather and sitting with us, because after today, who knows? Stay tuned for see what I'm saying.
Did you hear that Vant Motors has your sale going on now? And you get your choice on the money you'll save on your new car or truck?
My sale? My choice? Really?
Yeah! And they have lots of cars on sale. Some up to $7,000 off.
Sounds pretty good.
It gets even better. You can choose to take the full discount, or you can get some or all of it as cash back.
Extra cash back would be great.
Exactly. And you can even use the savings to extend your warranty or service plan so you'll drive worry-free for years longer.
Another good idea.
If you want to upgrade with something like a new roof rack or backup camera, you can choose that too.
Wow, I get to choose?
Yeah, that's why it's your sale, your choice. Going on now at Vant Motors on Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Not all insurance is created equal, but who has the time to shop around? Take the guesswork out of your insurance coverage with Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Let us match you with the best coverage to suit your needs at a price to suit your wallet. Plus, get superior customer service from dedicated claims professionals to ensure speedy claims processing. Get your insurance through Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Are you ready to pace yourself? Sunday, September the 23rd on West Bay Road at the Public Beach. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman's 7th Annual Delano Hislop Memorial Journey for Life 15-mile walk run. Register today and do your part to help raise awareness for prostate and colon cancer, and also raise funds to help support victims and survivors in the Cayman Islands. Registration fee is only $25. For more information, visit www.lionsgcmpacce.com or call 917-7223. The Delano Hislop Memorial Journey for Life 15-mile walk run. Sunday, September the 23rd on West Bay Road at the Public Beach.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Hi, I'm Mona Lisa Mead with the NCVO. As a nonprofit charitable organization, the NCVO is dependent on the generous support of the community to assist with its many community programs. Radio Cayman has consistently been there for us, and each year, the Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run assists with raising those much-needed funds. This November 4th, we invite you to join your #1 radio station, Radio Cayman, at Smith's Barcadere for the Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run. Along with the NCVO, funds from this year will also benefit the Special Needs Foundation and the Lions Club of Cayman Brac Kids Pantry. Please register today at Radio Cayman or visit caymanactive.com. Help support the NCVO today. Walk or run with pride. Walk or run with Radio Cayman.
See what I'm saying is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. See what I'm saying?
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And as we have our monthly See What I'm Saying, we're looking at the history of breadfruit. And I know some of you heard that and say, yep, we eat it. But we're not going to just yet.
We went there plenty of time.
We did?
Yeah. Well, I've been listening to the ad all night.
And a good company of Dr. Jackman.
Your own voice.
Thanks very much for joining us.
Did we tell people that he was the head of agriculture at one point?
You know, I was just thinking that everyone knows him, but no, we should.
He needs to properly introduce, he needs to introduce himself.
Okay, so we shouldn't just say he's somewhat his daddy or somewhat. We should
No. Thank you. Well, my name is Joseph Jackman. I came here from Montserrat in 1974, July, which means I'm here now for 43 years before some of you guys were born.
Wow.
And I came on a contract for 2 years, and I'm here now 43 years.
Oh, you one of them? You didn't bartend or anything, right?
I am one of them who decided to stay. Mainly because the family felt very, very comfortable here. It's a small island. We came from a small island, and the Cayman people appreciated what I tried to do.
And we don't have volcanoes?
No, can you imagine if I was still there?
I was thinking, he's settled in town. He still liked it.
You dig deep enough, you might get a volcano.
Yeah, well, we're at the top of a volcano.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so maybe.
Yeah, that's why I came to take up the position of Director of Agriculture, which was later changed to, after my first contract, it was changed to Chief Agricultural and Veterinary Officer. No, that's a very long story, which I won't tell you all.
Sounds like that's a maiden plumbing.
Anyway, and I left government in 1982, February, and we have lived here ever since, and we enjoy it. My children and grandchildren, my wife, we all love Cayman.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what? We do have a call online as we go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, I love the conversation there. It's interesting.
Thank you, sir.
I think as far as the end notion about the breadfruit being underutilized in Cayman, at least I can speak up through 1954 from there further back. I don't think it was underutilized, and someone made the comment that maybe it was because we didn't have any kind of preservative preservation for the fruit itself. But I don't believe there was very few meals that I had up to when I left here in 1954 that didn't have breadfruit in it. And the day that I went down in Banksville, and that was a normal thing because we lived out there on the beach. The breadfruit tree wouldn't strive very much. Though folks across the street, had bearing breadfruit trees all over the place. But if I came back in the yard and told Mama there ain't no breadfruit left on the tree, and where they go, I said, well, you know where they went, but. Then we had to find breadfruit somewhere else. But it was very well utilized. I mean, they used to grate the green breadfruit. Had to be at a special or the right maturity.
Yeah.
Grate it and make green breadfruit cake, they call it. I'm not sure.
That's a heavy cake?
A heavy cake, a very heavy cake, yeah. And I recall one time it was after one of the storms, and there was a big breadfruit crop, and they were pretty well mature, and there was breadfruit all over the place. And everybody was gathering up the breadfruits to make sure that they could make use of them. And there was one old boy who was out in the district of West Bay getting a wheelbarrow, getting all the breadfruit that he could get. And somebody said to him, well, how are you going to handle all these breadfruits? He said, well, I got two number 12 bath pans. Now, if you know what a number 12 bath pan is, that was a pan or container, metal container that we used to have to bathe in, which I guess was about 2.5 feet across.
He
said, I'm going to bake my breadfruit cakes in those number 12 pans. So, it was it was utilized a lot, and I think Dr. Jack probably recall that he participated with us on a special agricultural program once a week on Radio Cayman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's right.
Of course, we covered a lot of ground on. I think we must have did at least 100, 125, 130 programs covering all the various different agricultural products in Cayman. I don't know if you remember, Doc, but the theme was the theme music was, if we can put a man on the moon, why can't we keep a man down on the farm? But it's very, very interesting conversation, and I think breadfruit, that was a staple because sometimes you couldn't get the Irish potato, which is, I guess, somewhat similar.
Can I ask some of the ways you had it? You said every meal, like what were some of in stews, like a fish stew, a fish rundown?
Yeah, fish stew, any kind of stew with coconut milk, or not necessarily coconut milk, but it was one of the
staples.
That was put in with the meal, usually midway through when you thought the meal was halfway cooked, because it sometimes, depending on the maturity of the breadfruit, it don't take very long to cook. And
and tell me something.
And they made breadfruit dumplings also.
Yeah.
Well, anything you can do with a potato, you can do with a breadfruit. That's for certain. And some things you can do with the breadfruit, you can't do with a potato. So it's
breadfruit cake was a staple. Some folks
and that was done sometime when it was ripe too, right? Because you mentioned it was one that you had was grated, but is there also one when it's ripe?
When a breadfruit is ripe, I'm speaking of either you ripen it, you pick it at the right time and ripen it in your house or kitchen or whatever it is, or you watch it on the tree and pick it because they will ripen on the tree.
Yeah, but you can't do that now.
When they are ripened, it's almost like you want to call it pop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what a pop is?
Yeah.
It's the inside is almost like a pop. In fact,
they say it starts off sort of more like a vegetable and then turns like sugar. Sugary like at the end. The sugars develop.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
like most starches,
Yeah, they made the ripe breadfruit cake, and then as I mentioned before, the green breadfruit cake, and all of it. I mean, it was a staple in every meal. It goes good with turtle meat. It goes good with saltfish. It goes good with beans.
It don't go good with hungry bellies right now.
Well, it's very filling.
But anything. And it has some after activity also. So,
like as somebody was saying, it has a lot of antioxidants. That's why you don't have so many
antioxidants.
You got me. You done good.
But we don't. Anything else you want to share with us, sir?
What can I ask, Mr. Pine? Oh, sorry, caller. The caller. Did you ever come across the term floaters?
Oh yeah.
What's your definition of floaters? No, I mean that's stop dream.
Well, a floater, I think a breadfruit will float.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heavy stuff, but they call them floaters. Well, for one thing, at one time they were used as weapons also.
They were throwers.
And that was not, there was a period when, because you right out there in the center of West Bay, kids, and there was plenty of breadfruits all over the ground out there in the center of West Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Young breadfruit.
That's the four-way stop.
Yeah.
Big West Bay.
Yeah, a solid breadfruit tree, one of the famous landmarks in Cayman.
Mm-hmm. So, how old do you think at that time that tree was?
Well, I don't know. I couldn't say, but how old it was, when I'm talking about was 1954,
in the 50s, right?
And there were people then that was probably in their 50s, 60s, was talking about, well, I saw a breadfruit tree when I was growing up. So,
the reason why I ask, right?
I would say the tree might have been 60, 70, 80 years old.
Within 100 years.
So
they claim, excuse me.
Sorry.
They claim that breadfruit can live up to 200 years.
Yeah.
So it's a long living tree.
Yeah, I think they still have some from the first voyage when they collected them.
In St. Vincent. There's one in the Botanical Garden in St. Vincent that was that's still there. And when the Queen visited St. Vincent many years ago, she took a sucker from that and planted it in the garden too.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I would believe if a survey was ever done that you could find some very, very old breadfruit trees around Cayman, because even though sometimes they get blown down by the storm, they will spring back up.
Yeah.
Which is,
All right, man.
Nice.
Hey, thanks very much. And if you feel laden, have something else that you want to share, you're welcome to call back as you wish. Okay, sir?
Well, no, that's my.
I know.
What you say?
Yeah, hey, thanks very much, sir.
I'll go see if I can find a piece of breadfruit now.
Don't forget, my house not that far away.
2 plates, two or 3 plates at least.
Yeah. All right, thanks. We're going to pause, gents, just quickly take a short break. When we come back, more CY saying.
I need a bank that is convenient for me.
What do you mean?
I need a bank that has easy to find locations and plenty ATMs when I need cash on the go.
Oh, well, that's easy. You need to bank with Cayman National. They have 7 customer service centers and 23 ATM locations. The newest one is at the East End Post Office, and I hear there's more to come.
Well, sounds like I need to bank with Cayman National Bank, the convenient bank, because they seem to be everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Cayman National is everywhere. Surely they are Cayman's convenient bank.
Cayman National Bank. We're here for you.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam he could pass. And we had the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's eye exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Save 50% off a complete pair of glasses with any student eye exam. Now extended until September 28th. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook, located in the Caymanian Village. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Hi, I'm remodeling a bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's new kitchen and bath center.
Save the dates, Cayman, for HomeFest 2018, Cayman's Home Expo. Join A.L. Thompson's and more than 60 exciting vendors Friday and Saturday, September 28th and 29th. Why does HomeFest get bigger each year? Because you asked for it. You want new products, more demos, and more interaction, so we bring them to you. If you want cutting edge and once-a-year savings, join us for Cayman's Home Expo. It's HomeFest at A.L. Thompson's.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. You can recover. It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
I thought I was too far gone. I wasn't.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
The world is a beautiful place again.
If you, your family member or friend are in need of support, please contact Department of Counseling Services at 949-8789.
A language, history and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
See what I say?
That's old school, man. Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you very much, DJ. Good thing we're behaving somewhat. All right, it is. I was just looking off air for something, Ray. I'll try to find it next. In the studio with us, Ray Banker together with Dr. Jackman, and we're talking about the history of breadfruit. And
breadfruit in general.
There's a WhatsApp.
You play that?
Yeah, let's play our WhatsApp voice note here.
Ellen, Dwayne, Ray, and your vice master get something there. I listen to the show right now, and I want to tell you something. I look forward to every Friday the 13th to hear. Grandpa, it's every third Friday. Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. Yeah, I look forward to hear on this show. See what I'm saying? How I like my breadfruit, boy. In my younger days, I used to love that thing fried, but you know the cholesterol is the problem now, so I can't fry it no more. But I love the subject, and I think you guys are doing a good job, and keep up the good work. All right, this Grandpa, I gotta keep listening now.
Grandpa, where them clips is?
All right, but here's an email as well from one of our listeners as Dr. Jackman joins us for a month to see what I'm saying, focus on the breadfruit. This one says, like Mr. Loxley said, it was not underutilized. When I was growing up, we ate breadfruit all the time, and our fish dinners and other meals, and my mother cooked heavy cakes from them too. We still use them all the time. And I was looking at this one because this is actually spelt, so we can spell it too, Ray. Let us eat it. So those of you listening, the phone lines are open. You can call and share your stories with us.
We need to credit that, who that was.
Yeah.
I think that's like a staple.
That's a staple, exactly.
That's a staple.
And I think, Dr. Jackman, not just because of your sort of personal experience here, but your obviously expertise from the training, but from being here. People in this country sometimes take so much for granted. I know I do. The breadfruit tree was there as I hope you did. No, you know what? It's time to be respectful. Instead of saying the caller, as Mr. Loxley was sharing earlier, right? Many of our yards had breadfruit trees, and when you were eating, you went and you got a breadfruit. No, not everybody in the household ate as much as breadfruit. Some people may only didn't like it as others, but it was that thing.
But the breadfruit produces a lot of fruit, and consequently, you can't eat all of it.
Right.
It's like when I use the word underutilized, what I am referring to is that there are a lot of byproducts of the breadfruit that were not used at all.
Exactly.
Or they didn't even go in that direction.
Yeah, like we talked about
you talk about eating it with your meals and so on. That's a different thing. There's all kinds of things you do. A lot of you will name they use breadfruit fermented. It makes a very nice wine. It makes vinegar, anything that can ferment.
And then we talked about the pods. The pods,
and the pods used to be candidas for sweets.
Let's talk about that too. But I also want to ask Dr. Jackman, not just now, but later on, the nutritional value in part and parcel because of how things change. But want to join these callers? Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You're online. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let me give you my little input on the breadfruit. Do you guys know that you can stew the pods and it tastes like stewed papaya?
Yeah, we just talked about it. We have a recipe right here, actually. Stewed.
Okay, yeah. I know that. And then, like I was saying, breadfruit can be used in many ways. You fry them, you roast them, you boil them, you make potato salad out of them. One time my boss wife gave me some potato salad, and I ate it, and I didn't know the difference. And when she asked me, do you know what kind of salad that was you just eating? I said, yeah, potato salad. What else? She said, no. And I said, what kind it was? And she said, breadfruit. I said, well, you could have fooled me a million times. Because I didn't know a difference. I mean, I guess if I had looked, but I never really look at it. I just ate it.
See?
Because it's like Andrew Bush used to say, we don't spell them, we eat them. So, and let me give on a little input. Okay, what the guy was saying about the cake. My mother, when I ate, she just died this year. And that was my favorite cake, a breadfruit cake. But we didn't make it out of the ripe breadfruit because to me the ripe breadfruit is too smelly. It has a high scent. Yeah. And even with the vanilla and stuff that you put in it, you can't carry that scent down. The Cayman, make them with it because the old lady down by me, I used to carry them for her before they drop and spatter when they ripe on my tree and give them to her. But my mother, I remember us getting the breadfruit and cutting it and peeling it and boiling it green. And then she had like a masher. And she mashed it, and then she put in all her ingredients, her flour, her sugar, her vanilla, whatever. And to me, that's the best breadfruit cake. But these people, some people, well, I guess this is different stroke for different folks. You know, every cook has a different way of doing things. And like coming back to a breadfruit cake, I got beautiful. Well, she's not beautiful now because, like I tell that guy, I won't mess her up. I thought we were going to lose her. We spray her down after we could get a little water, and she start putting out again. Then up comes Paloma, and she lick her up, and she's still there. And those breadfruits, somebody was telling me that they're the biggest breadfruit that they ever saw on this island, because the guy that used to live next door to us, one Canadian guy, he used to get them from me all the time when they were in season, and they used to freeze them. He said, man, these not breadfruits, these are footballs, he said. And they're one of the best tasting because it's a yellow heart.
Yep.
I said I wasn't going to plant a tree till I get a yellow heart, and then I was telling the guy, this tree must be a survivor because this was ate down by every 2 foot and every 4 foot animal when we plant it small. Every time it get a little thing, chicken used to pick it out, or cow come in the yard because our yard no fence and eat it up, horse, and we had put like a cage. I tell him we had like that cage that time. I don't know if I don't remember when they were constructing the Statue of Liberty around it with chicken wire and steel rods. So this tree is a survivor, and it's not the best looking tree, but she bears. This year she had them numberless, and only since the hurricane, this year she put out 4 big ones like what she normally used to put out. And then I notice her now sometimes she puts out, they be wrong. Then other times she have wrong, and then she have like oblong, and like different shapes. So I said, I don't know what, but it's real. And like I say, breadfruit is one of the best things you could ever eat. I love it. Anytime I can get it, I eat some. And people freeze them, but I don't like it like that. After maybe a week, but not some months and stuff. But breadfruit is a good thing. And just get on one last little piece, and then I get off. One time in Honduras, this guy went to New York. He was a teenager, and they took him to New York. So when he came back, he was named George. So when he came back, they had a big breadfruit tree in the yard. So he looked up at the breadfruit tree because it had a lot of breadfruit, and he said, Grandma, what's those fruits up there? And she said to him, George, you don't know what kind of fruit are they? He said, no, Grandma, that's why I'm asking you. She said, that's why your mother raised you on. He pretends he had went to New York. He didn't know what breadfruit was. We teased him after that. We said, that's why your mother raised you on. Breadfruit.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks very much, Mom. Gents, that's the news break at 1 to first. The next break will be when it comes. Until then, stay tuned.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
If you've got a few moments to spare this Sunday, Plastic Free Cayman needs your help to sort through beach trash they've picked up in a recent event. There are over 1,700 pounds of beach debris that needs sifting and itemizing. If you're available, join them at the Department of Environment compound at 8 a.m. on Sunday. For more information, head to Plastic Free Cayman on Facebook. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, UK Prime Minister Theresa May has said the EU must treat the UK with more respect in Brexit negotiations. In a statement at Downing Street, she said for EU leaders to reject her plan with no alternative at this late stage of negotiations was not acceptable. At least 136 people have died after a ferry carrying hundreds of people capsized on Lake Victoria in Tanzania. Many are missing, and it is feared that more than 200 people in total may have drowned. Rescue efforts resumed today after being halted overnight. It is thought the overloaded vessel tipped over when crowds on board moved to one side as it docked. And a Chinese nanny has been executed after deliberately starting a fire that killed a mother and her 3 children in the eastern city of Hangzhou. 35-year-old Mo Huanjing was sentenced to death for arson in February. She had allegedly racked up significant gambling debts and had hoped saving the family from the blaze would persuade them to lend her more money. Instead, the fire in their 8th-floor apartment killed the woman and her children, aged 6, 9, and 11. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Babe, not tonight. I need to be rested for all-day meetings tomorrow.
What are you talking about? I was almost asleep.
You keep poking me, and I can't sleep.
That's the mattress spring I keep telling you about. Not me. We really need to get a new mattress.
Tossing and turning, back hurting, can't sleep? It might be time to turn in your old mattress and go to bed with a new one. Browse the huge mattress showroom at Brand Source Home Gallery and pick the perfect mattress today. With mattresses to suit every budget, Brand Source Home Gallery stocks a wide selection of sizes and styles like pillow top and gel memory foam. So stop tossing and turning and sleep better tonight with a new mattress from Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Scotiabank invites you to visit us today at any of our 2 branches for our Digital Days celebrations from 9 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. Sign up for online and mobile banking and experience the ease and convenience of free 24-hour banking. Customers who sign up for the Scotia's online platforms and use mobile top-up will receive double bubble phone credit during this promotion. Visit our nearest Scotiabank today and bank online and save time.
The Advance Automotive Chevrolet $10,000 birthday giveaway is still on. Buy any new Chevrolet from Advance Automotive and enter to win $10,000 cash. Entries close 1st of December or after 100 cars sold, whichever comes first. Pick up a brand new Chevrolet Trax compact SUV, the most equipped SUV in its class. Now reduced to just $19,995. Get the best deal in Cayman and enter to win $10,000 cash. Visit the showroom on Owen Roberts Drive or visit AdvanceChevrolet.com for more details today.
Open a world of knowledge and education with Flow. Bundle now and get smart back-to-school savings on Cayman's biggest network. Get 50% off HD quality Flow Evo TV and super-fast broadband bundles now from $49.50 a month. And you could win one of 4 weekly laptop prizes from Flow and Office Supply. Enjoy TV on your mobile with Flow to go and bring the classroom home with Flow Study. Do the smart thing and bundle smarter for back-to-school with Flow. Visit discoverflow.ky for details. Terms and conditions apply.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise the public that the following areas will be restricted to the motoring public from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Sunday, the 23rd of September, to facilitate temporary road repairs. Shedden Road, between the intersection with Thomas Russell Avenue and the intersection with Crew Road and Dorsey Drive, and the northbound lane of Crew Road, from the intersection with Smith Road to the intersection with Shedden Road and Dorsey Drive. During this time, local access only to businesses and residences in the area will be available, and representatives of the authority will be on hand to direct local access traffic. Traffic signs will be posted in the general vicinity, and all motorists are asked to drive with caution to ensure their own safety as well as that of the Water Authority staff. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its valuable customers as it undertakes these roadworks and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
It's more than what we do. It's who we are. We were your official bank of the quincentennial celebrations in 2003. We were your Bank of the Year 4 times. We were voted as the inaugural top employer in 2010. We were the inaugural Business of the Year awardee in 2017. Who are we? We are Cayman National, your local bank, proudly serving you for over 40 years. It's because of you that our journey continues.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman's breakfast is back Saturday, September 22nd, starting at 7 a.m. Enjoy a Caribbean breakfast of fried fish and fritters, liver and onions, ackee and saltfish, starting at $10, and help support the Lions Club and your community. The breakfast is also the last opportunity for participants to register and collect their bags for the 7th annual Delno Hislop 15-mile walk-run. Get your Caribbean breakfast this Saturday, September 22nd, starting at 7 a.m.
Tune in Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Radio Cayman's Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio, featuring Will Sinatra. Enjoy a mix of pop, hip-hop, dancehall, and soca.
The Super Jam Show is fueled by the proud sponsorship of Fitness Plus and Train with DRAY.
Get top-rated personal training or build your very own home or office gym today.
Want to hear the facts about Cayman's cruise berthing facility? The Deputy Premier and Minister of Tourism, the Honourable Moses Kirkconnell, invites you to a public meeting at the Family Life Centre on Wednesday, September 26th at 6:30 p.m. Come and hear the latest updates and have your questions answered. Refreshments will be provided.
CY SIWA Saying is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. SIWA Saying.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us. Again, special thanks to Dr. Jackman for being our guest this afternoon.
I mean you. I mean us.
Yeah. And that is none other than Ray Banker, man. Yeah. I don't think people appreciate the amount of, great work that you do, man. Dr. Jackman, thanks very much. Now, we got a caller. Let's so that we don't lose people, in the queue. Let's go to the phones. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Still there?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Good afternoon, please.
Yes, hi, good afternoon.
Darling.
How are you?
I'm very good, very thankful and highly blessed. Good afternoon, Mr. Jackman, and good afternoon, Mr. Ray.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
If I sound like a mother was full, I had the breadfruit just now.
Oh.
Okay?
You had some breadfruit?
Peanut butter.
Yellow hat.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Yellow hat.
Yes.
Oh, that was very yellow, and the butter made it even more yellow. Listen good now.
Mm-hmm.
A few things that I had wanted to say from yesterday, I had planned to say from yesterday. Mr. Loxer said some of it, and some others, another lady said some other things too. But people have been saying about the heavy cake, the breadfruit heavy cake and things. Sterling and Mr. Jackman and Mr. Ray, you can make light breadfruit cake too,
A light one?
Yeah. Light, you get really baking powder and things.
Mm-hmm.
But no, them times it was the baking powder, but no, you can use the self-raising flour. Did I say that too far?
No, we
Did
follow.
I say that too far?
No.
We listen.
Those who bake know that, always better when you... Yep, we got you.
Okay. And Mr. Roxas said about dumplings.
Mm-hmm.
They said you can make fritters. I'm writing this down.
Actually, I'm trying to figure out how to taste
it.
You make chips.
On recording me.
Yeah.
Okay then. Well, I'm good too, dumpling, fritters, all the cakes, the green breadfruit and the wild breadfruit and the red breadfruit, and then the other have a cake with the red breadfruit. And you know something about the ripeness of the red breadfruit? A little bit of grated lime rind. Want to hear me?
Yeah.
That kills it. But you can put your other little stuff, your little spices, but not every spice it, Because you see that all spice takes out everything, You got to put the cinnamon, a little nutmeg, a little vanilla, and all that kind of stuff that goes into all that stuff. Okay, you can have porridge too,
Okay.
Want to hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Porridge. Okay, the red breadfruit too. Look at, I'm going to use the house flour porridge.
Flour porridge. No.
Flour porridge.
Yeah, what we call a little pop, the flour pop.
Yeah, pop or whatever we call it.
Mm-hmm.
Pop. But look here, it's a difference between a pop and a porridge.
Yeah.
The pop is a hard thing, and the porridge is a thinner stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
One's
Pop,
English,
they call
one's
it pop.
African, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Eh?
I think one is English and one is African. The pop is definitely African.
Yeah, heavier. That's everything. Oh God! And you heard all about the fried one and the roast one and.
Yeah, man. There are all sorts of ways, and that's the thing we want to get into because it's something that I'm hoping that people start to look at again, not just the history.
Right,
but
Sterling.
We had one. I came across one in the archive. I think they put in a conch stew. Was it a conch stew? I gotta look for it.
Inside?
I think it was.
Conch stew?
Yeah. That's why I noted
Some
it.
people do a lot of stuff with the conch stew, Some people do a lot of stuff with the conch stew.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would put dumplings in there instead of the what you call the pie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you call the pie where you stretch it out?
Sea pie.
No, not a sea pie. No, sea pie different too,
Oh.
Sea pie is where you put over like
turtle
when
meat.
you're cooking turtle meat. And
See, I never had sea pie in a turtle meat. I only had sea pie in a...
No, but I have sea pie, man. That's flour dumpling. Tear up. George. Yes, ma'am.
Darling,
Yes,
give my break.
So, sorry, Mom. I was just trying to tell Ray,
Look at the sea pie.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to a Johnny cake.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It is thick like a Johnny cake, but then it's not brown because it is over the turtle meat.
Right. And the spongy.
Okay? Spongy too, yes. You can make him light too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
You're making me hungry.
I'm going to go back and some more.
Yeah.
You know, I can't think of it.
Yeah,
you can make this, you fry it. I think I said
you got it all, I believe. Yes, Mom.
A good bit of stuff you can do with it.
Oh, yeah.
And again, the man was saying about the powder, you get a breadfruit flour.
Yeah.
Breadfruit flour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody shared with me that during the war, when it was a shortage, they had dried it and used it as a flour.
Yeah.
Now, do you cook it before and then you dry it?
You just dry it.
Dry it like that?
No.
You dry it.
No, you go slice it up, make it dry out.
Yeah.
Slice it thin. Slice it thin, make it dry. Then you go and pound it in the mortar.
Yeah, mortar and pestle.
Yeah. Pound it up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes, Mom. Mm-hmm. Yes, Mom.
I don't know, but I told her quite a few things that is not even breadfruit. Anyway, but the breadfruit you can't beat the breadfruit. The breadfruit goes with everything.
Yep. All right.
Everything. Breadfruit goes with everything. Some people want it stewed. When I say stew, now a little bit of water, bring a little salt on, and you steam it slow. Because I stew breadfruit. Now, as the Jamaicans, they like to boil their meat, boil their bread, because they put a good bit of water so it comes out softer. Hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to boil it, you steam it, you fry it, you put it in the stew dinners. Oh, my God, let me tell you, I'm hungry again.
Imagine. All right, thank you very much, Mom.
Yes, I can.
We'll send Ray by your place to get
order dinner.
Thanks very much, Mom. And as our caller shares, it's so much. But Dr. Jackman, from the perspective of, and I was wondering this after a couple of discussions with younger folks, say those under 50, and even then when you go to those under 25, if they weren't specifically introduced to it by their parents or aunts or grandmothers, primarily, they're not into the breadfruit as much.
Well, as I think I shared it during the break. Yeah. Like I said, I'm a two-cultural family. So my mother's from town, so they liked it like a potato green, young, and I did not like that. I saw no use in that at all.
Right.
So I was, but not till I was older, and I went to my aunt's house, and I said a Jamaican helper that we had the yellow heart roasted. That I pepped up, and I was like, "What? Breadfruit is the thing."
But that's the thing too. I found that. But what I want to ask of you is not just preparation, but equally the nutritional value at some point, so that people appreciate that it's worth the effort.
It's not just carbs. I was surprised.
No, and it's good stuff. So nutritional.
Yeah, well, one thing is certainly it doesn't have any fat.
Yeah.
It's rich in certain vitamins A, D, C. Some of the B vitamins. It has some of the amino acids. It has minerals, and so on. So it's good.
Is it classified as a superfood, or
it's one of the superfoods? Not completely. For instance, it doesn't have as many things as moringa, for instance.
Right.
But it does have. Let's put it this way: it could sustain life.
Yeah. Would it have the folic acid as well?
Pardon me?
Folic acid.
I think there might be some of it.
Manganese and magnesium.
Yeah, it has a lot of those minerals.
Yeah. A lot of fiber.
Potassium.
Some protein too.
It has a little protein, not a lot. So.
And the reason why I say that is that when you were sharing earlier, as a staple, I think that's part of the reason why looking at it in the early days, as Mr. Loxton and the emailers and callers shared, it was a go-to food. It was that complement because whatever they were lacking from the other meat kind, here's a piece of bread kind that allowed them, right?
But what you have to realize, there's a reason why the breadfruit was brought to the Caribbean.
We can talk about that. Because it's filling also. It's filling also.
But not only that, I mean, it was to feed the slaves.
Yeah.
And and what the slave masters didn't realize is that they left the breadfruit for the slaves, not realizing that that was maintaining them, had them so robust and so strong, because it was a good food for them. Why they could work. Like that. They didn't realize that was.
And I wonder too if that stigma on it, whether that had something to do with it.
I think to certain people it did.
Yeah. You couldn't eat it because that's a slave food thing.
Yeah.
But it's also preparation too,
Well, that has a lot to do. But that came after. But plus, those people brought their culinary skills from Africa, and they made it a tasty meal. And plus, although it's not native to Africa.
Yeah, it's not native to Africa. It's native to Polynesia.
Right, but then a lot of it ended up there. I mean,
it went there too, yeah.
Of course.
I have, like a lot of this stuff in our history, it's oral. A lot of it isn't just anecdotal. It's people making assumptions.
Yeah.
Right? Not even a hypothesis, because they didn't test it. They're just making assumptions. And I asked about that tree earlier. How old is that tree? Recognizing that when Mr. Locks was talking about, that's in the 50s. People
this is Aunt Sally's tree,
right?
By four-way stop.
Yeah. People were saying, well, when they think back, that tree is probably in excess of 100 years easily.
It would have to be.
Probably even at that point 150 plus.
Yeah.
Because this one says, well, I remember my grandfather. And then they start doing it. Well, my grandfather was this age, and I'm this age, and it's just a simple math.
Well, I know there was across from 7-Eleven, Mr. Truman Barden's, I think parents, Arthur Barden. Yeah. They had to cut down a tree because it was going into the little print and press thing there building, and that thing was about 2 feet, at least 2 feet, if not more, around.
About 30 inches right now.
So you know how that. But it was a huge tree, and that had to be one of the
Yeah. You remember that tree, Dr. Jackman?
I mean,
you recall that tree?
Yes, I remember. I remember. It was there when I came.
Yeah. And now a breadfruit tree, or a breadfruit specifically, you toss it in the salt water, it'll drift across, and it can still be usable, right? To grow a plant, or will it be?
No, it would have to be one of the seeded varieties.
Okay.
It's like a coconut.
Yeah.
It would have to be one of the seeded varieties.
And we don't have those here, right? We talked about that.
Of course we have. I told you I have.
No, sorry, you have. But I mean, the ones that we know.
No, you don't have it, because they don't even know how to use it. Yeah. But every time you pass a Guyanese or an African or a Trinidadian pass by, you have a châtain tree. They call it châtain in Trinidad. Can I have one? Things like
that's the one that you're talking about. Sorry, the châtain is which one?
Châtain is bread nut.
Okay, bread nut. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
All right, so a good segue into how we got here.
Possibly. We got those clips. Let's play one of those. Can we play one of those clips? The
WhatsApp clip, or the one first?
This one?
Let's say the WhatsApp. And then we take the clip from the archive.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
What's the WhatsApp?
Yeah, listen to the WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, Ray. Good afternoon, Sterling. Yeah, this is Uncle Jesse. They sent me a message on your WhatsApp. But let me tell you something, breadfruit good. Back in the day, boy, they were really good, Back in the day, boy, let me tell you, you roast up your little breadfruit, put a little bit of butter in it. Man, you know the little secret? If you put a little bit of salt and onion, boy, now that way you got yourself a dish. Anyways, enjoy the show. Keep it going.
And that's from our WhatsApp, one of our treasured listeners.
Block that WhatsApp.
But Dr. Jackman?
Yeah.
You roast it up, put a little salt on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a dish.
Did you? I came across it, one of, where was it? Trinidad, I think they have it oiled down. And they just basically, why is that from? Oil down. They just do it like a stew. It almost stewed like, I guess. But they put the leaves, those heart-shaped leaves. What do you call that?
The dasheen. They call it callaloo, but it's the dasheen leaf. Yeah.
Yeah, and they use that on it. I want to try that, I think.
Yeah.
But it's called oil down, and I think Grenada said they have a different version of it.
The same thing. Well, Trinidad and Grenada have similar things. They're close, and some of the dishes are the same.
But oil down, it's like a stew, but not like a stew like we do it. But
okay,
oil down is called. Look it up.
Right.
But funnily, the names, because in Trinidad, one of their local dishes is called crab and callaloo. The callaloo in Trinidad and the callaloo in in Jamaica completely different,
True.
or in Cayman.
Yeah.
They use the young dasheen leaves with crab, and they call that callaloo. Up here we use it is a different thing altogether.
Yeah. That has the what do you call it? The tubers or the bulbs or something.
Which one?
That plant, the dasheen.
Yeah, that has a tube. It's related to the
cocoa.
Yeah,
kind of like the cocoa.
Yeah.
Hey, I eat, man.
I need to eat. Let's try this. We want to try this other one about some uses of
the clip from the archive.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to set up for us,
Miss Liz?
Yeah.
All right. Let me see if I can get.
All right. So we're gonna. And this is our partnership with our National Archive. Yeah, actually, when Ray's there, he's working. Yeah, I think they're kind of glad that they have limited hours because he'll be there the whole time. Yeah, they have to call me.
You get lost up in there. Let me tell you.
They physically call me to remove Ray. Okay, we're closing. He's been here.
I've closed the place. So who we're listening to is Miss Elizabeth Hurlston. I think she was the commissioner's
daughter.
Yeah, daughter. She was born in 1915, and the interview was in 95. And she's interviewed by Miss Heather McLaughlin. And let's take it away. She's talking about some of the sap, what she did with the sap and then the pods, the breadfruit.
And we were also told that if we swallowed chewing gum, it would go straight and stick to our heart and stop it beating.
Oh, I was told that too.
You were told that too.
I think that was all part of this conspiracy against chewing gum.
Chewing gum, right. We tried to make chewing gum when we were children. You know, the breadfruit has a thick white sap.
Yes.
And we would collect that and put it in a little pan and put some sugar in it, and boil and boil and boil, and we get some peppermint essence, but we never made chewing gum. But we tried often enough.
Yes.
And we smoked breadfruit pods.
Really?
Hiding. And it's nothing but pure hot air. There's no flavor. You know the dried pod, don't you?
Yes.
We would light the end of that. We'd hide behind some building, light the end of that and smoke it. We'd burn our tongues. And there was no flavor, no anything.
But you were smoking.
Oh, we just had to try it because we weren't supposed to do it.
So that talked about and she kind of talks about what you said is underutilized, the sap. Well, she was trying to make chewing gum here.
Yeah.
I don't know how successful that is. I don't know if anybody else. I think I heard somebody else say that they tried to do it. But like what we said, the sap could be used as caulking in a boat.
They use it for caulking in boats in the Philippines. Not the Philippines,
or the Polynesia.
Polynesia.
Yeah. And the pods too. I know the pods could be used in war because that's what we had in Hell Road. We had a breadfruit war, and what we do we pile up all the pods and drop bread. Is that the technical? What's the term for that? When the little breadfruit drops, it's not ripe. They don't develop.
The tree shedding what it can't carry. That's usually the case. Why
it's like a sacrificial thing.
Yeah, a sacrifice so that it can bring to ripeness, to maturity, what it thinks it can hold.
I don't know what the term, but we just call it drop breadfruit, I think. Yeah. A drop breadfruit. So we used to pile them up, and the drop breadfruits also kind of ripen or they start to rot.
Yeah.
And there's a technique to throw in them because you can't grab.
Can you demonstrate for us?
I could later on. I'll bring some. You can't grab it too hard.
Your hand will go right through it.
Exactly. So you had them lined off. You had the pods, and I think actually that was the first time that there was such a thing as podcasts. So I had them lined up, and the podcasts you can actually take them and you can use them as a sword. You can whap each other with them, and then if you got real serious, you'll take the hard one. Anyway.
Yeah. No. I got something.
You like that podcast?
Yeah, the podcast. No, but Dr. Jackman, this is part of why I enjoy the collaboration with Ray, and you see your history in a different perspective, but you get to appreciate there's so much.
Like podcasts?
Yeah, there's so.
See, you can lick somebody, sting them for the good. You can sting them. You can go home with something.
Some places they use they ferment breadfruit because of its high carbohydrate content. They ferment it.
Oh, they're making beer actually.
They make
with it.
vinegar and things like that with it. You know?
Yeah. That's what I came across in, again, Polynesia, I think maybe Hawaii, where they call it ulu. We never got into the ulu and uru and umu.
All these different names.
Yeah. And they take the flour and instead of whatever's in beer, hops or the barley or whatever, they substitute the breadfruit flour in it, and they make breadfruit beer.
Yeah.
So, and the ripe drop breadfruit is similar to like when you have cows come to your yard. When you step in a ripe breadfruit, it's the same sensation.
Yeah. Right. But yes, we have a caller on the line.
That's going on.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, I just thought I'd well, back in here.
Yes, sir.
I think the way I hear you all talking about the pod and the grapefruit, I think it's getting a little too mixed up there, because the pod, what I know as the pod, is not a breadfruit.
No. It's like the blossom.
It's like the blossom. It's like a blossom that comes out.
Well, yeah. It's almost, some of them look like a banana, a straight banana.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, because some of the conversations seem to have muddled.
No, that's me muddling that. That's me with the
no.
drop breadfruit.
No.
One that dropped the sacrificial thing. What you find on the ground?
These pods are brownish.
Yes, and
yellow when they first come down.
7, 8 inches long.
Yeah, something else that came to my mind was that at times we used to use those pods to make balls. That is, balls, to
cricket ball.
Cricket ball, yes, because you get enough of them and squeeze them up and wrap them with cloth. We had to wrap them with cloth and then lace them.
That's interesting because my father was supposedly he was in charge of making the balls and stuff. I heard that one.
Problem was, and lace them with either 6 thread or 9 thread line, maybe even 12 thread lines, depending on what you got, and you'd have a good ball.
And that's when they were soft, not the brown ones. Was that?
No. Well, not when they really come off the tree hard. You had to go and find someone that you could work with.
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying not the dried ones, because I thought they wanted cork.
Well, when you dried one, usually that's when they fall off the tree, and they put it hard at that point.
Mm.
But anyway.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Right.
Oh, that was the other thing too. The drop breadfruit could be used as a football. It could be used as a cricket ball.
Oh yeah.
I think you would hit a 4 and then you would have to hit a 6 because after you hit the 4, you couldn't do no more 4s.
Use it.
No more 4s.
But then they use the breadfruit. They candy it.
Yeah.
They candy those
the
pods too.
Yeah.
They boil them in sugar.
Or we call them stewed, I guess.
No, there's a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of them is like a candy because you boil it until all that sugar was soaked into that breadfruit.
So you take the pod and you boil it with sugar?
Yeah, with a lot of sugar.
She talks about, the one that we have, talks about taking off the little fur, the little, I guess, hair or the blossoms off of it.
Off of it.
Do you take that off it first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it makes it more absorbent. It can take the sugar in better.
And then what is it eatable? So you put the pod in the water with lots of sugar.
Yeah.
You take off all the...
It's like a candy.
Cut it up,
right?
yeah.
And so you eat the pod then.
Yeah, you cut it up and eat it.
I never thought of eating that.
Yeah, I've heard about it, I've never tried it.
Yeah.
I've never tried it. And that's the thing, I think we look at it now, and I come back to just trying to survey in the last, not quite 2 weeks, different people. Over 50, no problems. Mm-hmm. 50 and a little bit under, depending on your exposure.
Tobacco.
Yeah, 25 and under. No. Because when you pick it, and then the milk, what do you do? How do you fix it,
Yeah, I was in charge of sticking it in the sand. Stopping it.
Oh, yeah, to stop it. You stick it in
that was my job.
That was a common way.
But now, right, when you do that, you're messing it up. No, you got to do that to stop it from, bleeding.
Well, it's like the sapodilla.
Yeah.
The sapodilla has a sap too, and what you do, you get the sapodilla, you just put it in a bucket of water, and it stops it from... I used to always think all you had to do is just push it in a little dirt. That's how I grew up doing it.
Yeah.
But in doing research, I found out that what they do, they just put it in water, and that thing comes out quite nice and milky,
All right.
But, yeah.
The sapodilla needs berry.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing. All right, gents. Got to take a quick break. For those who are listening, join us when we come back. We'll tell you about
people still listening.
Captain Lai.
People listening,
and we'll see how it all came together. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. If you're hungry like Ray and myself, share the breadfruit. Stay tuned for SAYIN.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam he could pass. And we have the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's eye exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Save 50% off a complete pair of glasses with any student eye exam. Now extended until September 28th. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook, located in the Caymanian Village. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Pet owners are responsible for the protection of their pets during disaster events. If you plan to evacuate, plan for your pet as well, because they are not allowed in public emergency shelters. If you go to friends or relatives, and if it's okay to take your pets, also take your pet survival kit as well. Your kit should include proper ID, collar and tag, carrier or cage, leash, at least 2 weeks supply of moist pet food to preserve water or food bowls, any necessary medications, and plenty of newspaper for sanitary purposes and disinfectant. After the disaster, be careful in allowing your pets outside. Downed power lines, damaged buildings, and other animals and insects brought with the disaster could also present real dangers to your pet. Also, take care not to allow your pet to consume food or water which may have become contaminated.
This is brought to you by the Barbados Government Information Service and Breeze 105.3.
Radio Cayman invites our listeners to join us on Sunday, September 23rd for a live broadcast from the Crossroad United Baptist Church in West End, Cayman Brac. Radio Cayman will bring the local morning worship service to you, live starting at 11 a.m. on 89.9 FM and 93.9 on the Brac and Little Cayman. Radio Cayman, celebrating 42 years of service to the people of the Cayman Islands.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman's breakfast is back Saturday, September 22nd, starting at 7 a.m. Enjoy a Caribbean breakfast of fried fish and fritters, liver and onions, ackee and saltfish, starting at $10, and help support the Lions Club and your community. The breakfast is also the last opportunity for participants to register and collect their bags for the 7th annual Delno Hislop 15-mile walk run. Get your Caribbean breakfast this Saturday, September 22nd, starting at 7 a.m.
SAYIN is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. SAYIN.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thank you for joining us. And Ray Banker, together with Dr. Jackman, our guests. Ray, Dr. Jackman? Plural, you think? He can be more than one person?
What?
Hugh Jackman? No. And the beautiful part, as we were just talking about during the break, is how the historical records sometimes, we refer, that's your copy, yeah. We refer to Hearst, for instance, as part of things. Now we have our history book. But I think Dr. Jackman, with the greatest respect, a concerted effort by Caribbean historians to now look and continue to evaluate some of these things. Man, this is why I prefer radio over TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Ray passed me a note in class. All right, Ray.
Yeah.
No? Yeah.
Okay, so to talk about why breadfruit is in the Caribbean or why it's in Cayman, we have to look at the 1768, all the way back then, with Captain Cook's first voyage to Polynesia. And this is a time now where Australia wasn't even sort of discovered yet. They didn't even know the shape of Australia. They thought it was there, but wasn't sure what it was. So they, Captain Cook's voyage now, he's famous. Everybody kind of knows him. You can go to the UK and you see all kind of statues for Captain Cook. But who you don't hear about much is Joseph Banks. Also on board was Captain Bligh there too, that we talked about in the ad and Mutiny on the Bounty. And but Joseph Banks was a young wealthy botanist or amateur botanist.
And he was Mr. Loxton's brother.
I don't know if he was from West. I don't know if he had anything to do with West Bay, the West Bay Banks, but y'all can research that. But he also was the founder of the Natural History Museum in England and the Kew Gardens.
Yeah, famous gardens.
Yes, exactly. So, so they went to Tahiti, and then they discovered the breadfruit, and they for the Europeans discovered the breadfruit, I should say, and documented all of the benefits of it. And when they came back, they had all these glowing virtues of accounts of the breadfruit, and how this Joseph Banks recognized also that it could be a good, cheap, nutritious, high-producing, filling food for the slaves. And at the time, they had war with, or their sugar business in the Caribbean was failing, was about to collapse, and part of it was having to feed them slaves. They had to eat for some reason, you know, and so.
That gets in the way, right?
Yeah. And meanwhile, all at the same time now, so the 1668 and to 1771, they're having trouble with this other little colony called America. And America were the biggest supplier in that region for wheat and make flour. So they say a substitute for the bread that they couldn't get now could be this breadfruit. The breadfruit would be the answer to everything. So this Banks, again, he was good friends with King George, the same George.
The third.
The third. That is that Georgetown is named after. So somewhere in there is that thing with Bordentown and Georgetown being the capital, all that stuff. Proposed a special expedition to get breadfruits, take another trip back to Tahiti now, and get the breadfruits to deliver in Jamaica. So now, go back to 1787, he commissioned the same William Bligh that was on the Captain Cook's thing. They say, he's been there before. He's getting a bargain because he's a lieutenant, but you're getting a job of a captain, so all of that. So him, and then he's got a Fletcher Christian as his mate on this bounty. So that's 1780.
HMS Bounty.
HMS Bounty. And so they came late to the Tahiti, and they had to wait 5 months until the growing. That's what I was asking too. Like, if there's a growing season,
there's a growing season,
and like a season for the fruit too. But anyway, so they came late, so they had to wait 5 months in Tahiti to prepare the breadfruits and the little seedlings and the things enough so that they can take aboard the bounty. And the bounty was specialized, was modified for it. They had almost half the boat was taken up for these pots with the seedlings or what do you call them, sprouts or whatever.
And a lot of water.
A lot of water, exactly. And so during that time, now the 5 months that they were there in paradise, the Tahitians, the people there, they're all half naked, and the women are very friendly. And so this almost 6 months that they stayed there, the crew got a little they got a little into paradise too much. Some of them even got married. They were fathering children there. They got venereal diseases, all of that stuff while they were there. And so when it was time to go now, and they loaded the ship with about over 1,000 breadfruit suckers. A month at sea, they started getting back into the rigors of sea, which in that 18th century 18th century Navy was not a great, there was floggings and all kind of stuff if you fell asleep on watch and all that stuff. So that started to happen. And I think this Fletcher Christian now, he was the master's mate. He was the highest one of the crew other than the captain. I think he got a little weak. He was like 23 or something. He was like an aristocrat. Got a little weak and decided he wanted to go back, I guess, to his. And there's all kind of debate about why it happened. Captain Bligh was a harsh captain. That's the kind of popular thing. But if you really look at it, it's a combination of a whole bunch of things. Definitely. They were rationing their water even because you're giving them to the plants.
The plants to keep them alive.
Yeah. So, and they, like I said, they just left paradise. They weren't going to go back. So basically, they mutinied. They took over the ship with Fletcher Christian and half the crew, and they took the boat launch which is a death sentence in the Navy. Yeah. So it's a death sentence. It's not nothing that they did lightly. And so they took the captain off and let him off on one of his launches, and with like the other half of the men. I don't know, I think it was like maybe a dozen to 20 men. And they let him off, and they took the bounty, and they went back to Tahiti, got some women, got some of the natives, the JACKMAN, and they spirited off to Pitcairn Island, which was an island that was uninhabited and not very discovered. It was like we think there's an island there, so they went looking for it, and that's where they stayed because they couldn't go back to Tahiti. So when they went back to Tahiti, some of the people, some of the crew got off and said, "We're gonna wait. And I'm sure they'll come back. We can talk to them. We talk to them. They let us back. So that's the Mutiny of the Mountain. Like I said, there's like a book, a novel. In 1932, there was a novel written. There are 4 at least movies or 5 movies that you can find online to do with about it, if not the Mutiny of the Mountain in the title. And but Bligh was actually, he made it 3,000 miles, I think, to Fiji with all his men. He lost like 1 man, I think, and then actually lost like 3 of them when he actually got back into port. Mm-hmm. But he was touted as a hero. He like 3,000 miles in this tiny little boat, 41 men. That alone, they said.
Yeah, it was a classic navigational feat. They claimed,
And that Pacific is nothing to joke about. So that was him, and then so he came back to England. He was a hero. He got all his accolades and stuff. So in that now, him and the same Banks now, they still wanted their breadfruit. Mm-hmm. So there was a second voyage that you don't hear too much about, but that's the one that is more important to us. Yes, yeah. And while he was, and so that's 1792 and to 93, that's 5 years later, Captain Bligh's second voyage now to Tahiti to get the breadfruits, and he's got 2 ships with him now. He got the Providence and the Assistant. Found out I probably need another boat. Mm-hmm. So, and these is like, I think each one of these is maybe like 10,000 pounds. So if you calculate 18th century, 1790s, how much 10,000 pounds is? I think that's probably in the millions to do this.
And to today's dollar value, I'll do it for a minute.
So meanwhile now, they've gone back to England now was the crew, some of the crew from the Bounty, and they're being tried, and Captain Bligh isn't there to defend himself, and it made it out one of the guys who were on the ship and the judges were related, and then there was Fletcher Christian's brother wrote a thing about Captain Bligh. So they basically they did a job. They blackguarded Captain Bligh. So it turns out he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
But really, like I said, it was a whole bunch of different.
Well, they mainly objected to the fact that he was more. Well, he was sent out to get breadfruit. Mm-hmm. The idea was to get the breadfruit to the West Indies, to the Caribbean, and they objected to the fact that he rationed their water, but yet the breadfruit were getting water.
Yeah, and like the breadfruit was more...
Because to him, that was his job.
Yeah.
and they couldn't take that. That's why they didn't.
It was that and a whole bunch of
other things.
Like he called him a coward after a row about stealing 2 coconuts or something like that. There were cheese stolen and stuff like that. So I think I don't know. It's a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of stuff with it. The women that they left and getting back into the whole rigors of the Navy, all of that stuff. So 1792 to 93 was the second voyage. He went to Tahiti. He didn't fool around. He got there. He collected another 1,000 breadfruit. And so by December 1792, he reached St. Helena. That's out of Pacific now. That's back in the Atlantic. Mm-hmm. And he left some breadfruit there and plants and other rare species there. And then by January 23rd, 1793, he arrived in St. Vincent.
St. Vincent, yeah.
Okay, so St. Vincent was the first island in the Caribbean that he made with the breadfruit. Mm-hmm. He left 544 plants of some of them breadfruits, and like I said, some of the other things. He had oranges and limes to it, I think. But while he was there, he lost 2 men on the ship, and that's another thing. These all like the Captain Cook first voyage. I used an illustration off of that voyage. If some of you got the email or some of you see it on Facebook, the artist there, he brought like about 4 artists because they needed. That was the first time that they documented. They did like a real proper job on collecting and things like that. So some of the specimens are in queue right now. The trees that are still growing there from all the way from 1700s. But this artist, he died while on the ship, dysentery, and these guys not used to coming. When you go to some other country and you pick up
food and all kind of different things. Yeah.
So a couple of them died on that trip. I think 2 of the artists died. Like I wouldn't have went on that one. But this one, St. Vincent. Now, he lost 2 guys. One mutinied. One fell off the ship and drowned. Like might have hit his head and drowned just within St. Vincent. So a couple days later now, so in February the 4th, there's a couple of accounts here. We have him coming to Jamaica in January. But from his logs, February 4th is when they said he got in the waters of Jamaica. And the 5th, he landed in Port Royal. So he was outside Port Royal Harbor on the 4th and then Cayman and landed. Mm-hmm. So, and then on the accounts here, reading from the logbook.
Yeah, but just a quick historical note. I mean, this is where I think it's good to collaborate, but also what I was saying, Cameron, I was just checking cross check.
Yeah, Hearst has it.
January 93,
January 1793, and a couple of other accounts have that. Notes have that too.
But the captain's logs
getting from the same reference.
Yeah.
But the thing, I think the captain logs are the most important.
So the captain logs has a month later.
This is combination of Bly's logs and maybe his, because there's not only just one log, there's 2 logs. There was some that Bly from the mutiny was leaving out. So the mate or something log also had some things that things that happened that the captain didn't want. So this, I think, I've got to look into this more to check the dates. But I mean, it seems like this would be the more I would apt to go to this more. Yeah. And so, like I said, Hearst had it January. This is February 4th, and this is what the notes were written. This is Bly now with the 2 ships, the Providence and the Assistance, in Jamaica Harbor, or around Jamaica. He said, those delivered to Jamaica, thus distributed. This is the list now, I think. The county of Middlesex received 110. Greenwich for the... Greenwich or Greenwich? Greenwich? Greenwich?
Yeah, well, I said Greenwich.
Yeah.
Greenwich Mean Time.
Yes, that's what I thought too. And I don't know why they say the county of Surrey, for the county of Surrey, received 136. Port Morant for the county of Surrey received 268. And this is breadfruits and just plants in general. And Savannah for the county of Cornwall received 109. So that's a total of 623 plants. Majority of them are breadfruits.
Mhm.
And then I have in Jamaica, the first breadfruit tree was planted in St. Thomas at the Bath Botanical Garden. And I think, can you back me up, that there might be actually some of the original trees?
I don't know if they're original tree, but I know there's scions of them. I mean, offspring.
Offspring. And then tell us, how long does it take for a breadfruit tree to mature?
It all depends.
But roughly, is it like 6 years?
I've seen breadfruit bear, according to how it started, started being 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, but usually it's 7 or more.
7 or more. So make that note, right? 7 or more it takes to what do you call it?
Excuse me, if you air it,
yes, you can.
If you think about it, you can cut down that time. In 2.5, 3 years, if it's in good soil, you can.
And you kind of talk basically grafting.
Well, it's what the local people call circumposing.
Yeah.
Well, the real name is macotage, right? Where you put on the soil.
I can't say that.
But
it's you put, like we talked about, you scrape the bark off. You
scrape it off good. You get some soil. Or get some. Some people use rooting hormone for most trees. My researcher told me that for breadfruit you don't need it. You just need soil, moist soil. You squeeze it out, not wet, but damp. You wrap it up in some people just use it in foil.
And this is just taking a limb, one of the smaller limbs.
One of the smaller. So you're starting off with a more or less a mature thing, and that bears a lot faster.
So it sprouts the roots, and then you can plant it.
And then you can plant it once it has enough. But the key to that is that you got to cut the leaves.
The water content.
You understand?
I think my father did that, but I don't think he did the leaves.
Yeah,
so you got to take off all the leaves?
You can take off, or you can cut them all in half. Take off most of them and just leave a few because you want to generate food, because the root system is not fully developed in order to support the amount of water given out. So that's why they die. It's giving off more water than it's taking in. Okay. And the breadfruit has a big leaf. So you either cut them off or just leave some small ones just to generate enough food from the sun for the roots to develop.
Well, I wonder how many breadfruit trees we could spawn here. Thanks for that. That's great. That's great stuff. Yeah. So to talk about it, so he's in Jamaica now. Captain Bligh is in Jamaica with the 2 ships and breadfruits. So while in Port Royal, France declared war on England. So he was going to leave right away, and because he still had some to drop off in England, and the 2 ships that he had had to be commandeered and used for military services around Jamaica and things like that. So now this is where it comes in. So Bligh, we're looking to see whether Bligh was in Cayman waters. So this is the same Captain Bligh as on a mutiny on the Bounty. He got in the same log that I found. Where is it? Having taken aboard the whole plants for Q to go back to England. Kew Gardens. And the province be ready to sea. He left Port Royal on the 15th of June for Bluefields. That's
Nicaragua.
That's M. Nicaragua.
Bluefields. Yeah.
So all this time now, because they're at war, they have to convoy up. They can't just
not one ship. They had to move in a convoy.
And these ships, this Providence and the Assistant weren't
warships.
Yeah, they weren't war. They weren't rated for war, so they didn't have any guns on them and stuff. So they had to they had to go with somebody. So he said he going to Bluefields where he hoped he meet the Assistant to his other ship. So like I said, they're doing all these different jobs for using them. There, however, a letter was delivered to him from a Lieutenant Portlock, informing him that he was standing by a distress ship called the Rosehampton off the west end of the island, and would, if permitted, meet the Providence off the island of Grand Cayman. So I think he was
in the waters.
In the waters, at least. And then it goes on to say the 2 ships met there on the June 17th. And then after that, he went on to Cuba along with these other ships. And then they talked about...
Because he has a convoy then?
He was supposed to be in a bigger convoy, but I think he said in Cuba, how's it go? The convoy left Cape San Antonio the next day, and with the Providence, the assistance, Antelope, a packet. I got to find out whether a packet might be a mail ship or something, or a delivery ship or something. I've come across that a lot. I'm not a naval person. And then the Roehampton, Roehampton.
Do you think that was a misspelling?
Yeah, I think that's the Old English. The Roehampton turned into. I think it's probably Roehampton.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
So that ship that was off Cayman, he's got now he's in the convoy with
right.
Them. So I think that thing did take a place then, and then Clemson and the Thomas of Bristol, the two last being a Guineaman, which is Guineaman means a slave ship. They've got slaves, or they're going to pick up more slaves. So, and then he went through Florida. He then made it back to the Q in England.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, when you think about Bligh being in our waters, because there's no question that he was there off the west.
Yeah, around. He was around. Maybe even with all of those little milk runs and stuff that he was doing, but when he was there because of the war.
Maybe picking up some turtles too.
Exactly.
And this is where, when you think about the history, you recognize what the Caymans was. You talk about the turtles, the freshwater supply. Mm-hmm. It was a layover. We know it from the privateers and the buccaneers and the lake.
We had the step wells out there that they came in.
So and off the west coast, you surmising that's probably most of the Hawkseye Bay area.
I think it's probably like around the Hawkseye Bay. But like I said, I would have to look. I was sure there's more details about this Roehampton vessel, like to say, whether it was something, it was in distress. What kind of distress? A couple of West Bears were swimming out to it. I don't know what that was.
But we saw a boat. We probably were going to.
You need to wreck. We'll find some rocks.
You asked earlier. You said that those vessels, the Assistant and the Providence, were probably about £10,000. Not weight, but cost.
Yeah.
Today's dollar value, if the number is correct, looking at about £14.5 million.
That's probably about right.
Yeah.
If we do it today.
Yeah, if we do it today.
So it wasn't. It was a serious. It was a serious endeavor. It wasn't like I think most of England knew that he was doing it and things like that. So it wasn't it wasn't any little obscure thing.
Yeah, but don't forget, in those days to England, the English privateers were sending back a whole pile of money to England. You know, I mean, they're robbing the Spanish ships. They laid off
French,
Gents, respectfully, news break, and I know what happens. All right, stay tuned when we come back. If you think it's interesting, you want to learn more, share with us. Hey, give us your input. 949-8037.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
Mapleton Calder teams up with the blood bank for another round of mobile blood drives. In August, 2 drives were held at the law firm's offices, giving the blood bank a chance to snag 20 units of blood from 27 staff members, with 18 people registering as new donors. For more information about the blood bank and how you can save 3 lives with only a 10-minute donation, visit www.bloodbank.ky. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. A suspect is in custody after 5 people, including 3 infants, were stabbed overnight at a nursery in the New York City borough of Queens. Police were called to a home which investigators say was operating as a nursery at around 7:45 this morning. 9 children were in the house at the time. The 3 injured children range in age from 3 days to 20 days old. The suspect was found unconscious in the basement with a wound to her wrist. Sir Elton John and David Furnish have accepted significant libel damages over a newspaper allegation that their dog inflicted Freddy Krueger-like injuries on a child at a playdate. The couple brought proceedings against News Group newspapers over a front-page story in The Sun on Sunday in February. Their solicitor said the injuries were not serious and that the allegation was false and seriously defamatory. And a study has found that octopuses were given the drug ecstasy and became more social and even tried to hug each other. Writing in the journal Current Biology, researchers at Johns Hopkins University in the U.S. say the drug affected the creatures in a similar way to humans. In normal circumstances, octopuses are solitary animals who can prey on each other after mating. Scientists say the way they behave while on the drug may give insights into how social behavior has evolved. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman. Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Scotiabank invites you to visit us today at any of our 2 branches for our Digital Days celebration from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Sign up for online and mobile banking and experience the ease and convenience of free 24-hour banking. Customers who sign up for the Scotiabank's online platforms and use mobile top-up will receive double bubble phone credit during this promotion. Visit our nearest Scotiabank today to bank online and save time.
This is Caitlin Tyson, your Miss Cayman Islands Universe. Dementia caregivers are invited to an interactive training course on how to properly care for someone living with dementia. The training will be held on Saturday, the 22nd of September, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the Hibiscus Conference Room at the HSA. Please get involved, Cayman.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman's breakfast is back Saturday, September 22nd, starting at 7 a.m. Enjoy a Caribbean breakfast of fried fish and fritters, liver and onions, ackee and saltfish, starting at $10, and help support the Lions Club and your community. The breakfast is also the last opportunity for participants to register and collect their bags for the 7th annual Delno Hislop 15-mile walk run. Get your Caribbean breakfast this Saturday, September 22nd, starting at 7 a.m.
How would you describe Siwa Saying?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
Siwa Saying.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome
Siwa
back, and
Saying.
thank you so much for joining us. And together with Ray Banker, we have the wonderful company of Dr. Jackman. Is this what you thought it would be like, sir?
Very much so.
But the beauty of this, and I would ask you about, as you were talking about the plant and its uses and the like, here is something that so many of us, me included, will look at this thing. We know a little bit about it. We kind of got a general history, but we're probably more interested in it from its, use as a culinary tool, as it were, to complement, without necessarily doing it now. Some of us. And just during the break, I was looking at a couple of messages that came through where people said they stopped eating breadfruit because, or I guess somebody said cut down on it, because they thought it wasn't that healthy. But when you shared earlier that there's a strong nutritional content,
of course,
not knowing it's like the coconut oil, we're starting to use it again.
Well, one should. I mean, there's absolute. Well, let's put it this way: most things in excess can be bad for you. Okay, and. I don't think if the breadfruit was that bad for you, a lot of us wouldn't be here today because it was brought over here to feed the slaves. You understand? So if it was all that deleterious to your health.
It can't be that harmful, huh?
Yeah?
It can't be that harmful.
It can't be that harmful.
All right. Well, I'm one to believe that it's actually good for you. But no, really, you're talking about the bark and the lake and the thing.
Yeah, getting back to what Dr. Jackman was saying, underutilized.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the research I've done. There's so many things that can be done with the tree. Everything, every part of it. You know, from stewed pods to the bark, where you I think the bark.
You get a tannin type.
Yeah. And I had a question too. The leaves. I don't know if these are like what you said. The breed that we have. We have a special breed. The leaves on them are itchy. Are they ever turned? What are they? They have like a hair on them.
Some of them, yeah. But I know what they use. They're using the yellow stem leaves for things like blood pressure. They boil it and drink it, and the old people, that was one of their main blood pressure.
That's what we have in our museum also. We have a little bush medicine panel there, and we have breadfruit. The leaves were used for headache and the high blood pressure, like you said. Mm-hmm. And is that proven?
Apparently, I mean, look, the way I look at it is that when anything that didn't work died out a long time ago.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
If it's passed down to us, it means that somebody found it too. So that found out that it worked.
That's true. Yeah. or they're dead. They die out.
Oh yeah. So they can't pass it. Or so they can't pass it on.
So the other question I had: famous areas of where the breadfruit's in Cayman. We talked about Breadfruit Walk in Savannah.
At Lower Valley.
Lower Valley.
Yeah.
And West Bay had some areas. Georgetown. Bordentown, I don't see Bordentown as, I mean, maybe the Bordentowners will call in and correct me, but I don't see the Bordentown as...
In certain areas of Bordentown.
Yeah, pockets.
Yeah, they have little pockets of places where you have Bordentown. There's certain parts of Bordentown that I've been here 43 years, I haven't been. Mm-hmm. But there are certain areas like in the back, after you get off the main road, you go inside, there are a lot of breadfruit trees and other things in there.
And you think that's maybe because it's the rocky? It's kind of rocky there.
Could be.
So the salt maybe too.
I don't know about the salt, but I know that it's very rocky, and you have to find your pockets. You know, Cayman is famous for planting in pockets, especially fruit trees. So.
Where we can, plant it where we can.
Yeah.
And the other thing I had for you was like sometimes the breadfruit they have a rotten spot, and
from bees.
Yeah, is that bees?
Well, it's a bee that stings it. And I think that is the Department of Agriculture proved that there's a certain bee that goes and stings it, and then it causes the breadfruit to have a soft spot or a hard spot. Yeah. A hard spot in that area. And spoils the breadfruit and makes it...
Well, what's the purpose
Is that similar to what they do for mangoes? With the bees? The bees stinging the mango?
Could be. But it's... I don't know if it's a bee, you know, whether it's a wasp or, but there's something that I don't know whether they find that that's where they can lay the eggs or whatever.
I think there's sugar content.
I know bees went into sapodillos after the storm where there wasn't no flowers and things like that. They just it looked like somebody shot up the tree, all the holes and stuff. Yeah. But I wonder what's the purpose of a bee stinging a
breadfruit? I haven't got a clue.
What did the breadfruit do to him?
I'm honest to tell you, I don't know why they would do that, but I know it's done.
Okay. So, did we talk about seasons?
Seasons? Well, there's some breadfruit trees. You can find fruit on them all year. And there are others, they're definitely seasonal. Now, like, I could be going along Walker's Road, and it's raining cats and dogs in Georgetown. By the time I reach the Texaco station, it's dry like chips. Well, so that means you have these microclimates, and in certain areas, I think that's what happens. If the microclimate around that area is conducive to the development and the growth and so on, you'll get them bearing better than at other areas.
And then I think everybody, a lot of people recognize now that this season or the last couple of months was a bounty of breadfruits.
Yeah.
No mangoes, but a lot of breadfruit.
Exactly. As if the good Lord is trying to us to get food, you know.
Or the good Lord telling us a hurricane coming or something.
Yeah.
One of them.
Only real point.
Yeah.
Not only.
But what he's saying is not that funny.
No,
in the Eastern Caribbean, we used to say that if you have a lot of certain fruit, you can swear you're getting a hurricane, you know.
Yeah. I know just before Ivan, when we had plum trees, tons of plums, big plums, and it was like ridiculous amount, like notable, really notable. So and then right after Hurricane Ivan, so.
And this is why the country people need to look at its traditional record, right, and pass on that thing that the ancestors had.
I don't know if you all remember, after Ivan, when you went out within a few months, every yard had a pawpaw tree. You know this?
Mm-hmm.
You notice? No,
yes, and a nice. It is not an ordinary pawpaw. A nice big pawpaw, as if the man upstairs was saying, "Look, I'm sending you something that doesn't have a season."
Mm-hmm.
Because pawpaw, once it's out the bed, it's going to be till it dies. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I had pawpaw trees that.
Yeah, you didn't plant them; they just sprouted up.
And a male next to the female. The weirdest thing, because with me there was going to be no plants.
Yeah.
But so that's, and then we talk about going by the moon, all that stuff. We talked about the oral history, and to get back now to finish my, finish my story on the how breadfruit came to Cayman. The oral history. I was speaking to some older Caymanians, and he talked about. So the Captain Bligh came here, and the bounder came here or came across here. And I was like, after he said the bounty, I was like, yeah, well, that story not true, because the bounty was burnt in the pit, the Pitcairn Island after so it's in the bottom of South Pacific. So I stopped kind of listening after that. But now when I come back to visit it again and find out about this Bligh possibly being in the waters off, I think I'm finding a lot of the oral history, there is some little kernel of truth to it.
Right. And this is why, as you talk about that oral history and talking to these, older people, some of this is recollection because they're forced now to, I remember you certainly had a visit and they were talking about this, and then you go back and so I deliberately in the last 2 weeks went to check people and
you get the average.
Yeah, and some of it, unfortunately, I mean, I feel that I've done a disservice not only to myself, right?
I think you have.
Because you didn't pay attention to it. You were taken by your family and friends to go visit, the older farm.
One of these, you have one of these recording
devices. Yeah, but I did have it back then, 40 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah.
And so now going back to understand that historically, Bligh is recorded to being off how do you put it, off the west end of the island.
Well,
right?
we know for sure he was 2 days. He was in Port Royal,
right?
2 days away from
and then he's told that there's a ship in distress. Come here,
and so he's in Cuba.
Yeah,
so in between Cuba,
right?
Have to pass
but
Cuba.
His records are there. They're going to the UK, right, to be a part of the war. We know that Cayman is a supply sort of space. This is 1793. According to this June,
Cayman was their grocery store.
Right. So I'm convinced that despite what has happened, that just like what the gentleman shared, while he's here, making sure that his vessel is good to go and everything, he's resupplying. What if there wasn't some, in order to two things, in order to get, maybe he gave, but in order to make space for the things he's going to need, let me just throw off a couple of these.
Could be.
But they were pretty valuable too, though.
No, they were.
They were it was they were sworn to secrecy also too. Those convoys or those expeditions that they did, because they didn't want to tell all these different islands. Because, like I said, they weren't discovered.
Plus, all those nations in Europe were competing. Yeah. You had the Portuguese who were good seamen. You had the Spaniards. You had the French. And then the English and the Dutch.
The Dutch.
They were all competing.
We take it for granted now, but I mean, if you discovered cotton look at what came about with cotton. You discovered sugar. Sugar was was more valuable than gold, worth its weight in gold.
Do you know at one time, at one of the treaties between England and France, they wanted to exchange, of course England won the war, they wanted to exchange the island of Martinique and Guadeloupe for all of Canada. Because they were sugar-producing island. That just show you how much sugar meant.
Yeah. And the thing is, right, just to tease the listeners, Ray has Earth uncovered a bit of research. You mentioned Dutch. I won't ask you to say any more, but remember the Netherlands, the vessel, remember? The little piece?
No.
DNA, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We found a little tidbit, right? And this is historical record. It's not out there in the domain yet. And I think it's going to shake what we think of our settlements in our history.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. And the Dutch vessel, remember the other one?
You had to tell me off here. Let me tell these people how the breadfruit now, we think, got to this little piece of rock we got here. Okay, so 1803 now, this is 10 years after after Bligh has gone and dropped off the breadfruit to Jamaica. And why I asked you how long it took for these trees to propagate, or whatever you want to call it. You said 7 years for sure. So 10 years later, in the 24th of February, 1803, Jamaica Governor Nugent writes our Governor Borden, basically, you want some bread. You want some breadfruit?
We got plenty. They don't do this.
They're growing now. You want some? So now after the 24th of February, because we don't know exactly. This was just, like I said, a letter that the governor of Jamaica wrote to our quote-unquote Governor Borden. We think that the breadfruit, along with other plants, was started in Cayman. Okay, and then it's also the breadfruit spread throughout the Caribbean, as well as Africa. Okay, so I think it went to Jamaica for sure, Saint Vincent.
The other island.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta look to see again if they gave some to Cuba, because but I know Cuba has them.
But Cuba had them, but you know,
everywhere there was slaves has breadfruit.
But then you see, don't forget, the Spaniards had Cuba. There was always battles between the English, the French, the Dutch, and
Americans
in those days. And if you captured a ship that might have had on, it could have ended there.
Yeah,
so we don't know if it being actually introduced there, but that's one way in which they could have gone there.
All right. Jess, we have a caller online.
But to say what Cuba thought of them, Cuba actually didn't like the taste didn't like them, and they gave them to the pigs. That could be the taste. It could be the whole slave thing. And let me make this note about, after all this stuff with Cook and Bligh and Mutiny and all the boats and the people dying. It said that the West Indians didn't like the taste of breadfruits that much. They preferred the plantains. They're probably sweet tooth. I mean, but I mean, we grew to love them after, no?
Yeah.
So
that's why we probably make candies at all.
Huh? Yeah. So
and that is the sweet part. Again, comes back into there's some of the research we found how that sweet tooth is how to be. We sweetenize everything.
Yeah, right? I think it's all of that sugar that. I mean, we were right in the middle of sugar factory, Yeah, and that got in our DNA. I think.
So. Yeah. All right, let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon. You, Sterling Green.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome.
Yes, good afternoon to you, dear Dr. Jackman. The breadfruit thing, what Mr. Loxley Banks, my friend, said was what I want to say. We use it a lot here. There's a major staple part of our diet, say 40, 45 years ago. And it was a staple part of our diet. I remember many things here. Growing up in the Big Island of Jamaica, we didn't make breadfruit salad. But I remember just staying with my aunt, Morris in South Zone, and then my mother's people in Savannah and all that from school holidays. It was many years ago, 60 years ago. They made a breadfruit. That was the first I ever tasted breadfruit salad. We knew about potato salad in Jamaica, but I made it here. And I remember that very, very well the first time. Miss Pearl Hill, she used to, God bless, remember, he used to make a great breadfruit salad about the first time I did it, probably 1959 or so, 19. And we use it a lot. What you got to realize, when we ended the turtle thing, when we signed on the CITES Convention and all that, closing down, virtually closing down the turtle farm, which was mariculture at the time. It was always used, particularly in the turtle dinner. That was our major or national dinner, if you want to call it that. And in the rundowns, it's all beef or fish rundown, or sometimes mix both together, rundowns. And it was always there. You never ate without breadfruit. You could do without potato, as Mr. Locke was saying. I didn't get that. That's why I created breadfruit salad. But it was always there. It was very, very important to us. I don't know when you're giving a history of it, Ray was when he thought it might have come here and all that. It was in Cuba. The Isle of Pines people, Caymanians, they all know they're there. They always talked about that. Every house you would see there had a breadfruit tree in it. That's how you knew the difference between them and the mainland people. Yet they had turtle meat just like us. Mainland people didn't. The same thing in Honduras. The Bay Islanders are just like us with the turtle. And the mainland people are different. It's the same thing with Cuba, as far as I know. And but it was always there. Lots of breadfruit trees in the Big Island of America. Always you saw them there. One thing I do say, and I've heard many Jamaicans say, the best breadfruits they've ever seen are here. And we don't have the kind of soil that Jamaica has at all. Nothing compared to it. But we do manage. But I noticed one thing with the breadfruit is very finicky. It can't stand any kind of cold. I had a very good friend who his thing was planting things. He had a greenhouse and he had an ackee tree. There are many big ackee trees in Miami. And he had an ackee tree. And it was at 183rd Street, which is a little bit north of North Miami there. And he had a breadfruit tree. The breadfruit tree was about 10, 12 feet high at least, maybe more. And the ackee tree was about the same height. There came a frost, very cool time there. I think it was 1979, 1980. But the temperature went down to 39 degrees and all that. The breadfruit tree died. But the ackee tree didn't mean anything to it. And there's a huge ackee tree right there near 125th Street, a giant of a tree. And I remember getting ackees off of it from a gentleman. He didn't know what it was. He had placed, and I passed by there and saw all these thousands of ackees and asked him if I could buy some. But he said, take them. I don't know what it is for. I'm Northern State American. I bought this lovely property with a huge ackee tree on it. Bought them, but he didn't have any breadfruit. And I know it can't survive any kind of a frost. It's a very tropical, as I know, thing. Very tropical. I just thought I'd put that in, but it's very important to us in the older days. And as you're saying with Captain Bland, I don't know really who brought it here first and whether it went to Jamaica first or whatever. But it's here a long, long time. I know we used to use it. It was a staple thing. They never cooked dinner. You never had any kind of a dinner without breadfruit. You might miss out even on the rice, but you had breadfruit. And I just thought I'd add that in to bolster up what Mr. Locke said. It was amazing. It's no longer so. You have fast foods. The last 40 years, our lifestyle has changed completely with the young people. They know nothing about the old days, and we're not going to go back to that. We can't. But that was a big part of our life, the breadfruit. Have a wonderful afternoon. Now listen on. Maybe we can start with the iguana salad iguana breadfruit salad or iguana rundown now since they're on to the iguanas and all that. And maybe somebody will think up one of that iguana
I seen some curry one on Facebook. Look like.
Iguana, you're going to have to do that because eradicating them is just
I agree.
Wishful thought. That's impossible.
I agree.
Too late.
I agree with you 100% as far as the iguanas are concerned.
You have to eat them. But I don't think. I think they thought that you could never get rid of the turtle either. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we start eating them and almost make it a commercial thing, or just start eating them, they'll soon disappear.
The way the thought process of the locals has to change, go 180 degrees for us to get rid of.
Well, I tell you, it seems like I think it's Puerto Rico was that having trouble with it too, and they took it. I think they started serving it as like a select group of people in a gourmet restaurant in New York.
Yeah, they pay $50 a pound. But the point is that what Puerto Rico did, they have a worse problem than we do. But they, being a U.S. place, they have hunting expeditions.
Yeah.
And they get people to come over from the States to hunt the iguanas, and they can get that meat back to the States. Whereas here, we won't even... I don't want to get on that subject, but because some of them are concerned.
That sound like you do.
I really don't.
We'll bring them back another time.
But the thing is that we'll never, ever get rid of it once the thought process go like that.
I disagree with that. Well, unless the thought process changes.
The thought process have to change.
Yeah, but it's possible. Like I said, they never thought that they would finish killing the turtles. They could. There's no way we can, that type of thing.
Breadfruit. Let's stick on the breadfruit because we almost time.
Oh, my closing thing with it was somebody had said, I think must be after maybe all these expeditions, that if everybody grew a breadfruit tree for themselves, the world would never go hungry. Would you agree with that? Because those too much breadfruit. But
I agree with
you. You can freeze them.
Every neighborhood had one. You wouldn't need. it.
Well, it seems like that's what we have now. Neighbors have breadfruit tree, not the people.
But if it's in a neighborhood, but it's a versatile plant. The fruit is incredible.
There's so many things you can do with it,
and it's not unlike the coconut.
I might plant. I'll plant.
We didn't even talk about chips.
Yeah, we had breadfruit chips. Well, we talked about fried.
Chip. Fried and chips are two different things.
Fried and chips too.
How so? Okay, so fried breadfruit and chips?
Like coconut chips.
Okay.
You mean tiny, like flakes?
Yeah. You use it like a potato peeler. Chips, you like when you have potato chips, they're little strips that you get at Burger King or one of those places.
We got 91 Nor'Wester. We have Mr. Graham Thompson. I think it was that Island Taste. He was making potato chips. Breadfruit chips.
Yeah.
And he said they were taken off. I don't know what happened.
Of course. I remember that. But they use a potato peeler to get it real thin, you see, and then deep fried.
Add a little salt. I saw. I shouldn't share it because I want you to do it. A breadfruit taco. Yeah. They took and sliced it up, the whole thing with the core and everything, and they use it as a thing. And they use the skin too. They use it as a taco.
Yeah. It's fried breadfruit for us. I mean, whether thin or a little bit thinner. I've used what you said. Slice it really thin.
Our restaurant serves at cafe at the museum serves the chips.
Take a mandalay, make it even thinner.
A mandalay?
Yeah, not a mandalay.
Oh,
a mandalay. Just be careful with your hands when you use it. Okay.
Okay.
This should be longer.
You got short fingers anyway.
Yeah. No, but this is hopeful as people start to appreciate even the breadfruit. How do you do a show on breadfruit? Well, we haven't touched some of this stuff.
Yeah, we got 2 more shows we could.
Yeah. Dr. Jackman, we invite you for any sort of closing thoughts, sir?
Well, I must say thank you for asking me. I was a little reluctant when you asked.
That didn't come across.
When you asked me first because
something I said or what?
Yeah, because you told me that you said that you all asked Joel. And Joel then told you to ask me. So I said, well, I was second thought. Why should I come? No. But I really enjoyed it. I really must admit I enjoyed it.
I hope you weren't insulted by that.
No, not at all. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
You was like a fiddle.
Yeah.
No.
You didn't get that when he said, who you are again? He don't remember you.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
But no, we definitely enjoyed having you and all of the information.
Yeah. Really, thanks, man. We can't say it enough. You, Dr. Jackman, the amount of work this fellow does, just to...
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see
it's amazing. And then I have to go through it and vet it.
But you know, if you enjoy what you're doing...
Don't say that, because they don't want to pay you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but if you enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't come like work.
Well,
it's true.
We know
it's true. Enjoys what he's doing.
It's true until you have to go faster.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah, like Marvin used to tell me, I give away everything. I remember that the children need shoes. You know.
Well, the team over at the National Archive, I know they were very quiet and reserved. They don't like publicity, but they have to appreciate how much we appreciate them.
They have to put up with you doing.
Yeah, and if they allow us just to say thanks, because they give Ray access. They have hours and they kick him out because he's there. If they leave him alone, he probably would sleep and spend, because there's so much. And as you research,
stuff,
you find more.
And I'm so focused.
Yeah.
And he's like a sponge.
Yeah. It's a lot, man. I mean, he's excited, and for this to understand it, for me to look at it from the perspective that I come from, when I see a document and then there's another document and there's
a link.
Yeah, well, there's that.
4 links. And
then there is a contradiction. Both is presumably historical documents, centuries old. But wait a minute, you're saying this with this letter, you're saying this, okay, misspelling, mistake, whichever. But then the dates are off being recorded, which is right. And so we need continuous research as we have shared.
Yeah,
of course. And it's amazing.
I'd like to find out more about this Rosehampton.
But thanks very much. And thanks to all you who've listened. It's a breadfruit.
Put up with that.
And we've got a couple of the good things. I'm trying to get Ray.
And when I say us, I mean me.
Yeah. No, man, Ray. I believe you're one of the few people that we allow into our house all the time.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful, safe, blessed, and productive weekend.
Thanks for listening. And remember, if you're trapped in your car and you can't get back to lunch or the time, or maybe, you can check us on YouTube, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And if you tell your colleagues and co-workers that you will listen to this, they should understand.
Yeah.
Join me, start on Monday morning for the record. Come back for Talk Today. I know I got something planned. I don't know what it is now. I'm too hungry thinking about breadfruit.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta look for my brothers this afternoon. I'll get some breadfruit. Dr. Jackman, to you, Ms. Barber.
Thanks again, Mr.
Thanks
Jackman.
again, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And to Joel and to DJ Lynn for putting up with us and helping us out, for Grandpa and Uncle Jesse. All right. Until Monday, be blessed.
See what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying. It happening every third Friday on Talk Today.
Jointly produced by the National Museum and Radio Cayman. A language, history, and culture show. Remember, it's every third Friday on 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
See what I'm saying?